Hello, 12 Nation. I am Saahil Kapoor. You're on the Hawk Alert. Today we're going to be previewing that Cardinals versus Seattle Seahawks game. Cue that intro. Again, I am Saahil Kapoor. You're on the Hawk Alert. The Cardinals are 11-5. The Seattle Seahawks are 6-10, thanks to a win against the Detroit Lions last Sunday. A 51-29 win. We previewed that game, so if you haven't watched that yet, make sure to watch that. The Arizona Cardinals are 6.5-point favorites as of Thursday, and this really doesn't surprise me. The Cardinals are going to be sending their best squad out there. They're going to be playing their best football. They're still fighting for that NFC West championship. They have a chance to take over the Rams, especially if the 49ers win this Sunday, right? So if the 49ers manage to win that game, then the Cardinals will definitely play their best football. Luckily, or not luckily, but the Seahawks and Niner games at the same time. So really the Cardinals won't know what's happening. My prediction is the Niners will take that game because they did earlier this season. I went to that game and the Niners simply just outplayed the Rams. And I think they're going to do the same thing. Obviously, the Rams have gone better since then. And I think the Niners have also gone better. I think George Kittle and all are better. But we're not going to focus into that. We're going to focus into the Cardinals-Seahawks game. And this could be the last game for some Seahawks legends. And before we get into that, make sure to follow the Twitter and Instagram. Sorry about that. It's the Hawk Alert on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure to subscribe as well, and make sure to go to the description and follow the Twitter and Instagram so you know when the latest videos are coming out. Okay, like I said, Seahawk Legends, this could be their last game in the Seattle Seahawks uniform this Sunday against Arizona. And it's sad to think about, obviously. And it's tough to think about, really, as a Seahawks fan. Those two legends are none other than Russell Wilson and Bobby Wagner. Sorry. Russell Wilson and Bobby Wagner don't need any type of introduction. Everyone watching this video knows who they are. I'm just going to talk about the great Seattle Seahawks careers that they had. And if this is their last game, I will always be a fan of both of them. Wherever they go, I will be rooting for them, no matter what uniform they wear. They could wear a Niner uniform, and that's not going to happen, obviously, but they could, and I will still be a big fan. Russell Wilson is my favorite player of all time. I've looked up to the dude since I was like 7 years old. He's always been special to me. I'm 17 now. I was watching him when he was 7 in his rookie season. He's always meant something to me. He's always been a great human. Everything. Let's just talk about him. I think he's the best quarterback that has represented the Pacific Northwest. I don't think there's any quarterback on his level. You can't even make a claim for Hasselbeck. Nothing. He is the best. I think it's fact. I think it's criminal to say he's not. Some of his accolades are he's a 7-time Pro Bowler, insane, Super Bowl winner, and then most important, he's the Walter Payton of the Man of the Year in 2020. And I say this is the most important because football is bigger than a game. It's about the human you are. Russell Wilson is one of the nicest and greatest human beings in the NFL. There's a reason why this Walter Payton Award was given to him. He's a great citizen. He's a helping person. He donates. He visits unhealthy kids in the hospital. He does everything. He's a nice guy. You'll never see him being mean. He's always an energetic, fun guy. He's just a perfect human being, and it's unfortunate that this could be his last game. It's a bit emotional, right? As a Seattle Seahawks fan, that this could be Russell Wilson's last game in the Seahawks uniform. I don't want Russell Wilson to go, but it's, as a Seahawks fan, he needs to go. I mean, it's tough. I'll definitely be looking at his highlights in 10 years. That 2014 NFC Championship game when he came back, is the Super Bowl victory, all those games, I'll be looking back and I'll just be looking at Russell Wilson. I don't want them to go, but it's better for the team. The Seahawks fans need to understand that Russell Wilson and Bobby Wagner take up so much money, and it's time for them to move on. Let's get back to Russell Wilson. It's a bit, tough talking about that, just how important he's been to the Seahawks since he got to the Seahawks when he was drafted the 3rd round with the 76th pick. I mean, just everything. He's meant so much to the team. He's meant so much to Seattle. He's been the #1 Seattle sports figure for the last 10 years. I don't care about Felix Hernandez. I don't care about Ichiro. I don't care about anyone. It's him. It's Russell Wilson. I mean, let's talk about those stats. It's hard to remember Russell Wilson before Geno Smith. I mean, I don't remember another starter. You can remember Tavares Jackson, and the crazy thing is Tavares Jackson passed away like 10 years ago, 11 years ago. Tavares Jackson was playing. He was throwing the ball to Sidney Rice. Like, you know these names, like, this is a long time ago. And now he's playing with new people that were watching him when he was in the league when they were like 10. Like, Jordan Brooks was 10 years old probably when he was watching Russell Wilson as a rookie. He's probably like in middle school when he saw Russell Wilson win the Super Bowl. He was young, and now he's in the league playing with Russell Wilson. That's just crazy. It's 36,821 passing yards in his career, all in a Seattle Seahawks uniform. He has 289 passing touchdowns, and his record as a Seattle Seahawk is 103, 53-1. That's his all-time record. That is one of the best records in 157 games. I think it is the best record. He's the most winningest quarterback, win percentage wise, starting percentage wise, everything. He's the most winningest quarterback of all time. He's obviously, this season was his first season where he's had a losing season, and he's never even had an 8-8 season. He's always had a positive above 500. It's always been 500 plus, and then this season comes around, tough season. The best you can finish that is 7-10. He's had 31 game-winning drives, which is ridiculous. He's such a clutch guy. Obviously, Seattle fans talk about how annoyed they are, how close these games get at the end, but he clutches up at the end. He's at 31 game-winning drives. He's one of the best in the game, no doubt. He is definitely a top 5 quarterback when healthy, in my opinion. You can't really make another claim. I mean, like, name 5 guys better when they're all performing at their consistent healthy level. It's hard. In my opinion, he's the 2nd best Seahawk of all time. I mean, if he stayed 5 more years, which is not the case, I think he would be better than Largent, but I think dominance at the position, Steve Largent is a top 10 receiver all time, Hall of Famer, everything. I think Steve Largent is the best Seattle Seahawk of all time, and then it's Russell Wilson. And to cap this off, Russell Wilson is a future Hall of Famer, and Russell Wilson will always be my favorite player. Moving on to Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner, no introduction as well. I mean, he's one of the best linebackers in NFL history, and he's not the best of all time. There's obviously great names, but he's one of the best. You have to give him credit where credit is due. You can't say he's a bad linebacker. He's in my opinion, the best defensive player in Seattle Seahawks history. You could say Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas. I think it's Bobby Wagner because of the dominance at his position and the way he's held this bad defense the last 3 years together. He's been the centerpiece of this defense. When Quandre Diggs came in 2019, that helped even more. Diggs was behind him in the safety position, and these two dudes have just held this defense together with their two people on an 11-man defense have held this team together. Bobby Wagner has been the center point of this defense for the last 11 years. Bobby Wagner, I mean, like in baseball, if you guys watch a lot of baseball, not a lot, but like, you know what a 5-tool player is. It's a player that can do anything, right? I think, in my opinion, Bobby Wagner is a 5-tool linebacker. He can do everything you want out of a linebacker. He's a pass rusher, run stopper, great in pass coverage, hard hitter, and great tackler. He does everything you want a linebacker to do. There's nothing he can't do. It's kind of crazy. I'm kind of happy. I think Jordan Brooks going forward could fill his spot. I mean, it's going to be to fill Bobby Wagner's shoes. It's obviously a lot, but Jordan Brooks, he's showing a lot of potential, and I think Jordan Brooks could become the new centerpiece of this defense. The linebacker is so important. It's 50% mental, 50% game, and it's such an important position. It's the hardest position on defense, in my opinion. I don't think there's anything harder, and I'm very happy that Jordan Brooks is actually going to be here for the next few years, because without him, this team's nothing. I mean, you could be losing Bobby Wagner this offseason more likely than not. So, I mean, luckily Jordan Brooks is here. Luckily, there's other pieces that can fill the linebacker position. Let's talk about these Bobby Wagner sacks. I mean, like I was saying, he's a 5-tool player in football. 1,383 tackles in like 9 seasons. What? Do you realize, like, you play a 16-game season until now, and he plays 100% snaps every year? It's crazy. He plays so many snaps, plays so many games. He's rarely hurt. He was hurt barely in 2016, I believe. He didn't play as many games, but he's rarely hurt. The dude's always healthy. He's always all pro, it feels like. He could be all pro this season. I think he has a good chance. Roquan Smith is also there, but I think Bobby Wagner is definitely the best defensive player in Seattle Seahawks history. And I don't think there's a debate for that. The amount that Bobby Wagner and Russell Wilson gave to this team is crazy. They've worked their butt off for the last few years, and in my opinion, no one is better than them right now in the Seattle uniform, defensively and offensively. It's a tough goodbye for sure. It's a tough goodbye, and it's hard to say goodbye, especially to your two best players that you've had for the last few seasons. It's hard to say goodbye. It's all we can do is remember the times, right? Remember the times we had with this great team. Remember the times when the Seahawks won a Super Bowl, the Legion of Boom, and just know the Seattle Seahawks will be back one day. The Seattle Seahawks will have another Super Bowl one day, and I don't have to really say anything more. There are going to be a great team one day, and I think this is for the best. I think it's time to say goodbye. It's unfortunate, but it is time to say goodbye, and it's a bit emotional. I know I keep repeating things, I'm sorry, but like, it's just thinking about Russell Wilson and Bobby Wagner and the contributions they made to this team, the way they battled, the way they went to work every Sunday, just amazing to me. And some players would be lucky to be half of what they are. Bobby Wagner had an injury against Detroit, a knee injury. He was pretty much out after the first snap of the game, and I hope he really plays against the Cardinals, I mean, it would be just insanely tough. It would be like heartbreaking if he didn't play another snap as a Seattle Seahawk, because the way he went out as an injury against the Detroit Lions, and his last game before that was a Chicago Bears loss. So I just really hope he plays this Sunday, because it would mean so much. And he's questionable. He said he feels good, which is good. So this Sunday against the Cardinals, and let's get into that Cardinals game really. So there's two main guys. This episode was really focused on Russell Wilson and Bobby Wagner and the legacy they had in Seattle, the presence they brought to the Seattle area, the way they just acted in Seattle, the way they impacted Washington as a state. It's just about that. But we're gonna focus on the Cardinals now. So Budda Baker and Kyla Murray are obviously their two biggest players in my opinion. You can, on defense, they have great pieces like Chandler Jones, Marcus Golden. They have pieces all around, but I think Budda Baker is great. He's great everywhere. He's great in coverage. He has sneaky speed. He's been able to get to quarterbacks frequently at times. I think Budda Baker also kind of did some good work against the Seahawks last year. He had that nice interception towards the end of the towards the end of the first half. He picked off Russ. DK with what some people say is one of the best hustling plays ever. DK chased him down, got the tackle, and Arizona didn't score in that possession, which was nice. But Budda Baker, he's a very scary force. He's sneaky speed, like I said. He's great in coverage. He's a really good safety. So the Seahawks better watch out. But the Seahawks offense has been cooking, and that run game has been cooking. So we'll see what's gonna happen. I think the Cardinals have a decent run stopping type defense. They have obviously Kingsbury at coach, who's a decent coach. I'd say he's more of an offensive coach, but they have Chandler Jones and Marcus Golden, who are great pass rushers and can get to the quarterback and can potentially stop the run, like Zach Allen too. I mean, he's also great. Cardinals are a great football team, as we saw last year. They have Isaiah Simmons, all these pieces. So yeah, that's for the defense. For the offense, Kyla Murray, everyone knows who he is by now. The way he kind of owned Seattle last year, in the first loss of the season last year. He was great he's been great for the Cardinals since his rookie year. Obviously, the Cardinals had a bit of a mishap when they drafted Josh Rosen, and that got fixed when they drafted Kyler Murray. They moved on from Rosen, got Murray. Murray's been great. You could say Murray's been the best Sooner quarterback since, a long time. So Murray was an MVP candidate through the first few weeks, and then obviously started battling injuries like that, like since the Packers and stuff like that. He lost the Packers, an injury. The Cardinals have kind of been on a downward spiral. They started the season 7-0, lost to the Packers, became 7-1, and now they're 11-5. So they've had a negative record since week 9, and they lost to the Detroit Lions, which is a bit embarrassing. I think Seattle can pull this game, but if I'm going to look at this game from a non-biased perspective, I think the Cardinals are going to give it their all. They're playing in Arizona. I think the Cardinals will run away with this game 31-28. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's being a good game. It's going to be a great game. I think Bobby Wagner and Russell Wilson are going to leave it on the field. They're going to do. Okay, let's go. Let's change up the prediction. I think the Seahawks are going to win this Sunday. I know how much the Cardinals need this victory, and I know how this means nothing for the Seahawks. They don't really gain anything. They don't have a first-round pick, second-round pick, doesn't matter. But I know how much this means for the Cardinals, but I think it means more for Seattle. The reason is because Russell Wilson and Bobby Wagner, their futures in Seattle are jeopardized, and I think they're going to give it all this Sunday, and I think they're going to do anything they can. I think Bobby Wagner will play with a broken knee. I think Russell Wilson will just go out there. He'll be so locked in, and the Seattle Seahawks will run away with this game on the road. the Cardinals have been an easy team to upset these last few weeks, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Seahawks did so. I'm Saahil Kapoor. That's this video. Make sure to follow the Twitter and Instagram. Make sure to subscribe. We're going to be posting Seahawks content. I mean, it was a great career, Bobby Wagner, Russell Wilson. They will be missed in Seattle. They end up being traded this offseason. We'll be talking about the offseason all year long until football's back. So make sure to subscribe. Go Seahawks.